Can you believe it? It's divisional round in the NFL already. And what a divisional round. The Baltimore Ravens, Buffalo Bills, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, two of the most controversial MVP figures all year long. And now they are set to go head to head in maybe the most anticipated divisional round game in the history of the NFL. You know we got a show in store today. This is a big one, folks. So since it's such a crazy show full of game analysis, game predictions, and of course, injury updates that may have a very big impact on this game, we had to do something special for the intro. We had to do something special for the intro today. Welcome to One Flock. I'm your host, Rob Love. It's time to fly. Come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event of the evening. Live from the electric field of the AFC Division Round. Tonight, two gridiron warriors into the ring for a clash of titans in their quest for glory. In the blue corner, standing tall at 6'5", hailing from Fireball, California, the rocket-armed general of the Buffalo Bills, a Pro Bowl, leader of one of the NFL's most explosive offenses with over 4,200 yards and 35 touchdowns this season. Known for his cannon arm, fearless scrambles, and ability to ignite the snowstorm in Orchard Park, he is the usurper, Josh Allen. And in the purple corner, standing at 6'2" from Pompano Beach, Florida, the dynamic dual-threat phenom of the Baltimore Ravens, a two-time NFL MVP, the youngest quarterback to pass for 5,000 career yards and rush for 2,000, leading the league's most electrifying rushing attack and rewriting history every time he steps on the field. He is the King in the North, Lamar Jackson. Buckle up, fans. The AFC division is on the line. Two quarterback legends, one destiny. Are you ready to rumble?
Let's go Ravens, let's go Ravens, let's go Ravens, let's go Ravens. We are one flock, we are one flock, we are one flock, we are one flock.
How about that? Woo! You guys don't know how excited I am. Welcome to One Flock. I'm your host, Rob Love. I appreciate you flying with a brother. You know what we got to do today. We got to warm this up. We got to get everything covered and get ready with our popcorn for this game, because this is going to be the game. Now, why do I say it's going to be the game? I'm not saying it's going to be the game because it's going to be some classic down-to-the-wire game, because I don't believe that's what it's going to be. We'll talk about more about that later. But this is going to be the game because what have we listened to all year long? What's been the build-up? Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. Josh Allen is the MVP. Lamar Jackson is the MVP. Josh Allen doesn't have any weapons. He has no skill players. He's just a lone bag of talent in a team devoid of it. While Lamar Jackson is Derrick Henry and 9 Pro Bowlers, and Lamar Jackson has all the skilled weapons. That's what we've heard all year long, right? We've heard the Buffalo Bills media and fans and the media in general tell us all year long that the Buffalo Bills are devoid of talent. They got a bunch of bums and just Josh Allen. Now, I've been saying from the onset, that's a lie. That's a bunch of hogwash, as my grandmother used to say. That's a bunch of hogwash. You look at the numbers that everybody apparently who is in the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen's corner is afraid to do and doesn't want to do. You look at the numbers, not only do the numbers tell you that the Buffalo Bills have one of the most talented rosters in the NFL, which explains their performance, they have, in a lot of instances, superior performance at their skill positions to the Baltimore Ravens. That's what the numbers have told us. Buffalo Bills, their receivers dropped the ball a lot less than the Baltimore Ravens receivers have. Buffalo Bills, their number one running back, though he is no Derrick Henry in mass and bulk, with his style of running, he's averaged more yards per touchdown than Derrick Henry. They both have 16 touchdowns. He's not a chump. Amari Cooper never has been a chump. He's mossing dudes. Khalil Shakir, the numbers tell us he's leading the league in yak yards after the reception. The dude has been sure-handed and special after the catch. Josh Allen's had nothing to do with what that individual's been doing in yak. Khalil Shakir's been doing that. This is what the numbers been telling us. But all year long, we've had to endure this narrative that the Buffalo Bills are devoid of talent. They don't have this awesome offensive line. No, Josh Allen's just so good. That's why he's not getting sacked. What I'm telling you now, folks, is this is the game, because in the aftermath of all of this narrative, all of this garbage that we've had to listen to, we are about to be in a situation where the entire world is going to be forced to look at, in prime time, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time, the truth reveal. And the truth reveal is going to be clear. I'm so excited for this because I love it when fact lays down the smack. And that's what the fact's going to do today. And you know what? I have some things I want to point out about that. But before we get to that, let's talk about something else that really is going to be impactful in this game. I know that's what a lot of people are anxious to hear about, the Zay Flowers update. Because again, while we're talking about all these weapons that Lamar Jackson has, while Josh Allen has none, let's look at this game. We have some serious injury concern with the Baltimore Ravens, with Zay Flowers being out, because he is our number one wide receiver. If we look at the Buffalo Bills, they're coming into this game as healthy as any team in the playoffs right now. They have one player that is listed on their report as far as having any type of injury, and he's in the concussion protocol, may not be able to play. That's one of their running backs. He is a player that has put up some decent numbers. I think I was looking, he had 600 plus yards at some point. 635 yards Ray Davis did this year. He is still in the protocol for concussion. So maybe he doesn't play. He is the only person on the Buffalo Bills injury report. They are healthy. Meanwhile, Baltimore Ravens, relatively healthy as well. But the one guy that we're worried about, Zay Flowers, is listed as doubtful for this game. Now, a lot of people got excited yesterday. And why did they get excited? They got excited because the Baltimore Ravens, they released a video that showed Zay Flowers running through all these agility ladder drills, and he looked good. He looked good. And you notice he had a knee brace on the knee that had been injured. And so it led to a lot of optimism, and you heard a lot of conversation about maybe Zay Flowers is going to play tomorrow. Well, after that video came out, the Baltimore Ravens did release the injury report, and on it, Zay Flowers was listed as doubtful. Now, I can tell you now, same thing as I said after the injury happened initially. I don't expect to see Zay Flowers in this game. The soonest I would expect to see him would be in the AFC Championship round, assuming we get there. And I'm not just assuming we're going to get there. I'm telling you, we're going to get there. But that's the soonest. Why? Because of the knee injury. Now, at first, when I saw it, I was scared like the rest of us. I thought maybe this was a serious non-contact injury. But turns out there was some impact to Zay Flowers' knee area, and that led to the injury. I thought maybe it was a contusion. But one of the things that really there's been a lot of smoke and mist about is what is the injury that Zay Flowers has. And while those details aren't put out, there's something I wanted to share with you guys that really gets some insight that I think will help you see what we can expect from Zay Flowers. My friends over at Timeless Athletics, they're injury specialists, and they broke down really what was going on with this injury to Zay Flowers. And I think once you see this, you'll understand a little bit more of what we can expect with the Zay Flowers injury. Check this out.
But here you can see it's two thighs, not actually the defender's knees, and the contact is very broad, spread out over the entire leg, not just focused on one central point. And in another replay, we actually see Zay Flowers' right foot is trapped against his own player while the contact is made. Now, this is only for a brief moment as his ankle quickly gives way, but it is enough to cause a varus force. And what that means is just the force is coming from the inside of the knee versus a valgus force, which would be coming from the outside of the knee. If I slow it down and replay it a few times, you'll really see what I'm talking about, especially if you focus on that knee. And then again, we see it happen in this replay as well. Later last night, it was confirmed that they do believe it's a sprain and he's pending an MRI. I'd be very surprised if this wasn't an LCL. Now, if it were a contusion, that would still be very painful as this area of the knee is not very well protected. There's no muscles to really protect you and they just hurt. But your LCL or your lateral collateral ligament is going to sit on the lateral portion of your knee or the outside, and it's very weak to these varus forces, which will cause tension on the ligament and lead to a sprain. The severity of the injury is still unknown. However, some good news is he was able to walk to the blue tent and then eventually walk into the locker room. The MRI results will tell us more, but I would expect Zay Flowers to miss at least 1 to 2 weeks with this injury, with an expected return either the divisional round or the conference championship.
So there we have it from the injury specialist at Timeless Athletics. Really appreciate that insight, because after watching that, I don't know what you felt, but I feel a lot better. And here's why. What do we know about MCL injuries, which is what some were thinking maybe this was? If this was a sprain of the MCL is a very slow heal because of where it's located in between the two knee bones. That area doesn't get a lot of circulation. And so it can take a long time for the MCL to get to where it's ready for action. A lot of time for rehab. The LCL, not so much. As you could see, the lateral collateral ligament, it's on the outside there, and it gets plenty of blood flow. In fact, what did he say? He expected maybe 2 to 3 weeks for recovery. That's pretty much on point with most specialists. That being the case, if that is indeed what was injured in that, and it looked like from the footage that we just saw and the explanation given by the injury specialist there, we probably should be expecting to see a relatively healthy Zay Flowers close to 100%, possibly by the AFC Championship round, certainly by the Super Bowl that we expect to be playing in. So that was excellent news. With the conditions that's going to be going on in Buffalo this weekend, the 65% chance of snow last time I looked, really cold temperatures, playing on turf, which has a tendency to get hard and slick in freezing conditions like that. It's going to be windy. I'd be really surprised if we saw Zay Flowers. Now, does that hurt? Absolutely it hurts. But one thing that we should see right now, and this is the truth about this Baltimore Ravens team, is this team is built to sustain and absorb injuries. It's such a balanced offense, such a balanced offense. The running game is impressive, but for Lamar's weapons that everyone wants to keep touting as if they're all, the top 5-6 receivers in the world, they're not. But what are they? They're capable, they're athletic, they're all dependable, and because of this, we have a time in which we're seeing complementary football being played by the Baltimore Ravens when you want to see complementary football being played by your team. Right now, we're peaking. This is what you call peaking at the right time. So Zay Flowers, if he's not able to play, as I don't expect him to, what do? Well, Isaiah Likely, guess what? You're going to get a little bit more action, brother. Oh, yeah. What about the running backs? What about them catching it out of the backfield? Oh, yeah, we got 3 that can do it. Justice Hill, you ready? Huh? Even Derrick Henry, I don't know if you guys noticed, catching some balls out of the backfield. And let's not forget, we have the rushing attack that is absolutely a problem and will be a problem in this game. But I want you to know that already people are trying to push their narrative to where if the Buffalo Bills lose this game, they still will be able to say, oh, well, the Buffalo Bills should have lost because they don't have any talent. Well, not everybody's doing that. I thought it was of note that someone that I don't always agree with, but I do respect, Nick Wright. You know, Ravens fans go, oh my God, Nick Wright. But let me tell you something. Nick Wright, as wrong as he is most of the time, Nick Wright said something interesting. Even he alluded to the nonsense that a lot of people have been putting out about the Buffalo Bills just having no talent in this game. And I'm glad that he said this, because I assure you, no one in the Ravens locker room preparing for this game is going, oh, we got this. It's in the bag. We got a loaded roster and they got nothing but Josh. I assure you that is not being said in our locker room, because if it were, we were preparing to get punched in the mouth and end our season, because we sleep on what is obviously a super talented roster that has a lot of players in key positions who've been performing. But notice what Nick Wright said. Tell me whether you agree with this, because I wholeheartedly do. This is the one time when Wright was right. Mark it down, because who knows when it'll happen again. Here we go. Check it out.
I disagree with the Pro Bowl voters. I disagree that the Ravens have a 5x more top-end talent than the Bills, with the Ravens having 9 Pro Bowlers and the Bills having 2. And you take the quarterbacks off for each of them, 8-1. Like, that to me, if I really thought the talent was that disparate in this game, maybe I'd feel that way, but I don't.
Would you agree on paper? I mean, that's paper. On paper, the Ravens have the better team as far as Pro Bowlers, marquee names, all of that. Like, just looking at the rosters, you would say the Ravens have a better roster.
I think part of that, though, is because we don't really value offensive linemen. And I think the
Ravens' offensive line is good.
I think the Bills' offensive line is the best of any team in the league other than Philly. And I just
Detroit's is good.
Let me just say the best in the AFC.
Holy moly, Nick Wright was right. He spoke the truth. Who knew it was possible? You hear what he said? Did you hear what he said? That the whole perception that's been sold that by the 9 Pro Bowlers and only 2 on Buffalo Bills, and everybody's taking these opinions that have been based on mostly name glazing. Derrick Henry has more of a name than Cook, right? So because of all of this, we're taking opinions, which is all, when you look at the Pro Bowlers and this, that, and the other, the AP, the press, their opinions, their impressions, and saying, this is the fact. This is the truth of what is. Stop with that. Do I need to have a whole conversation about expectations? Everybody wants to, and if I hear that one more time, the expectations argument. You know, no one expected the Buffalo Bills to be good preseason because they lost this and lost that. What does expectations, how right or wrong they were, have to do with your performance? Nothing. I assure you, I don't care what people's expectations are. Depending on who it is, somebody who likes me may have high expectations for my performance. Someone who doesn't like me will undoubtedly have low expectations for my performance. But let me tell you something, I don't care. And I assure you, the Buffalo Bills, as exemplified by their performance this year, this season, they haven't cared about what people's expectations were. So why now, all of a sudden, are we supposed to care so much about the flawed expectations of the media and whoever else before the season started and use their absolutely wrong expectations to pump Josh Allen's MVP status? It doesn't make sense. Must I remind everyone that the expectations of this same media group was that Lamar Jackson would not make it as a quarterback in the NFL? That Lamar Jackson would not be able to sustain his style of play. That Lamar Jackson would need to switch positions to a wide receiver to have any type of career. Must I remind people how wrong the expectations preseason are? I mean, Tom Brady was 6th round. How often is the number 1 or number 2 pick a bust? Why are we giving all this weight to expectations? I don't know. But Nick Wright pointed it out right there. You know, it's like people are trying to color this narrative with these expectations. It doesn't matter. It's not the truth. And you know, what's interesting is that A lot of people already are trying to switch their story to cover their behind in preparation for what they know when the fact smack comes tomorrow during the game. Mike Tannenbaum. Mike Tannenbaum. And Dan Graziano already are trying to switch. These are two guys that have been yelling from the rooftops about Josh Allen being surrounded by talentless bums. Also, Dan Orlovsky. He came on television the other day talking about, James Cook's so amazing and this running game, and they've got all these guys that they were able to run the ball with. Just a second ago, you were saying they were all bums on the Buffalo Bills. The stories and narratives they're trying to switch already. Check this out. This is what Dan Graziano on Get Up on ESPN had to say just the other day. Check this out.
James Cook will have more rushing yards than Derrick Henry. They'll get out early at home, and they'll be able to run the ball in weather that is going to be, as I understand it, fairly cold.
What? You mean this bum Cook, you expect him to have more rushing yards than the Derrick Henry that you've been trying to say is in a whole nother class all year long? You see how these lies they've been telling, how they come to tell on themselves now? Both things can't be true. You can't be saying that, there's just Derrick Henry's way up here and Cook's way down here, and then say Cook's going to have more rushing yards. You guys see what I'm talking about? Let's keep rolling. Look at what Mike Tannenbaum had to say. Same show, more the same.
I see it differently. In a game that, of course. In a game that's so close, that's truly 50-50, I think the elements really favor Buffalo.
Did he just really say this game is so even, it's a 50-50? I'm sorry, I'm confused. How is the game even in 50-50 when all you've been telling us all year long is that the Buffalo Bills are devoid of talent and Lamar Jackson has on the Baltimore Ravens this amazing level of talent? How is that 50-50? If that were true, wouldn't it be that no one expects the Buffalo Bills to win? Everyone expects the Buffalo Bills to get blown out because the Baltimore Ravens are so loaded and the Buffalo Bills have nobody? Notice how these same people now all of a sudden who said Josh Allen must get the MVP because he's the only talented guy on this football team. They're doing everything they're doing just because of him. Now, all of a sudden, these same people are talking about, it's 50-50 game and, Cooks is going to have more rushing yards than Derrick Henry. Do you guys see why I get so absolutely irritated and by the nonsense they keep trying to spit? And this is what gets me back, and this is the only thing I'm going to leave alone because we got game breakdown and the prediction to get to here. It's the last thing I'm going to say about this MVP conversation. As you know, the votes are already in. The votes are in. People keep asking me, what do I feel about the MVP debate? And here's what I have to say about that. There is no debate. There is no debate about who the MVP of the NFL is. There are only debate shows. There is no debate. How can you debate that the one player that can go on any roster in the NFL and look your quarterback in the eye, look your running back in the eye, and say, I threw the ball better than you, quarterback, and I ran the ball better than you, running back? 1,000 yards almost rushing, over 4,000 passing. How can anyone debate that the one guy in the NFL who can do that no matter what team he goes to is the most valuable player in the NFL? No one can. And that's why I'm telling you, there are no debates that are valid about this subject. There are only debate shows. Here's what happens. Every day when this topic came up, somebody or somebody's on the staff of a debate show drew the short straw, and that meant they had to go on television and try to push some nonsense about anybody could be more valuable than the one player who's the number one rusher and passer in the National Football League. There's no debate, folks. There's only debate shows. And I hope that this show that's been put on so consistently throughout the year for the basis of entertainment, I imagine a debate show without a debate would be pretty boring to watch. But the number of people who have picked up on this nonsense and carried it is nonsensical. I mean, how in the world, what are we doing? What are we doing? And I'll say this last thing. It doesn't matter how much talent the MVP has on his team. Doesn't matter. Never has. The MVP is an NFL award, not a team award. If you're the most valuable player on your team, great. You know, the gap between you, the relativity, the relationship between your value and your teammates' value, that matters on your team. Doesn't matter for the NFL. If the award was, just to keep it simple for those who aren't getting it, if the award was the most fast player in the NFL, MFP, most fast player, it wouldn't matter if everyone on your team was slow. And you go, oh man, the fastest speed of my teammates is a 4.6. I run a 4.4. That wouldn't make you the fastest player in the NFL. The only way you could be the fastest player in the NFL is if no matter what team, wouldn't matter if you had fast teammates, slow teammates. If whatever roster we put you on, you were the most fast player on that team. Wouldn't matter who you had with you. Derrick Henry, whoever, wouldn't matter. Cooks. With any. For you to be the most in the NFL, it doesn't matter who your teammates are, wherever we put you, it's going to be true. Lamar Jackson is the only player that no matter what roster you put him on, there's going to be no one else on that roster who leads the league in passing and running. He's one of one. That makes him the most valuable player in the NFL. That's all I got to say about that. We'll find out if the truth is what these press peoples decided to put to their vote. Hope he didn't get robbed, but we'll find out. One thing he will not be robbed of is the result of this game, which brings us, it's time to talk about what to realistically expect when the Buffalo Bills, the usurper, Josh Allen, and King Lamar with King Henry and the rest of the North come in. What do we expect to happen? I'll tell you this. The game plan is simple. The Baltimore Ravens have an imposing run game. The size of our offensive line, the size of our fullback, the size of our running back, really plays in our favor in this matchup. Matchups are so important in football games. The Buffalo Bills have a very small defensive line. They're built more for speed and mobility. In the cold, it hurts a lot more to get hit by 250 pounds of running back coming at you. You get hit by anything, the turf, the shoulder pads, everything hurts that much more. The game plan has to be run. It's going to be a windy game. I think the wind is supposed to be gusting anywhere from 16 to 20 plus miles per hour. So passing isn't really going to be a big part of the game for either team. I think automatically that pushes the game in the favor of the Baltimore Ravens. We do have the better rushing game because we have Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, two of the top runners of the football in the National Football League. Now, on the other side of the ball, the Buffalo Bills have a good running game as well. And I also believe they're going to try to, at least to start, run the ball as much as possible. They want to keep our offense off the field. Here's where I think that falls apart. Since week 11, the Baltimore Ravens defense, Zach Orr, The guy who everybody was calling for the brother's head in his first year as he figured out his defense has been leading the league. Leading the league in the way they've been locking folks down. Yes. I believe, especially with the weather preventing the long, big threat plays that everybody was afraid might come into play in this game, because we do have one weak spot. One weak spot in our secondary that everyone was concerned about. I don't think that becomes so big of a deal. The reason why is because the wind's going to be blowing. Lobbing that ball up when the wind's blowing like that and your hands already are cold, and listen, the touch on those passes is tough. I think if Josh Allen does get in a situation where he has to do that, look for a couple of picks. Look for that defense to come up with some turnovers. If they try to keep up with us on the run game, they're not going to be able to. I think the Baltimore Ravens keep a nice mix in the offense. I think we do the play action. I think we do have some nice intermediate throws to keep the Buffalo Bills defense off balance. And ultimately, I think by the time the fourth quarter rolls around, we're just going to be pulling away. Lamar Jackson has managed the game so well this year. He takes what the defense gives him, and he's excellent at either one. And that's why having the MVP as your quarterback is the best thing you can have. He's playing the quarterback position better than anyone in the league has this year. He's making the decisions that if he needs to give it to Derrick Henry based on what the defense is doing, he's doing that. That's why Derrick Henry has over 2,000 yards so far this year. He's making the decisions to where if the running game is covered and it's time to pass it, he's passing the ball with great efficiency. That's why the Baltimore Ravens have their first Pro Bowl wide receiver. This is why I'm ultra confident about where this game is going. It's not because Josh Allen isn't good. It's not because the Buffalo Bills aren't good. They're great, and so is Josh Allen. He's exceptionally great. It's because what we have is the greatest football player in the National Football League, and we have a team that is complementary, a team that is excelling in every way you want them to be excelling. Even Falele. Wow, his performance as of late. Our team, the Baltimore Ravens, we have some special pieces. That combination is why we win this game. Now, what's going to be the score? Final score, what I think is going to be. In case you guys haven't been watching, I've been on a roll. Last week, I was super close. I think, what did I say? I thought the final score was going to be 32-13. And it was 28-14 is what it ended up being. Look, close. The week before, I nailed it spot on. So this week, what do you think I got? Remember, I told you, we're going to play the run game as much as possible. I think the Bills will start off trying to do that as well. So scoring, we'll start off slow. It won't come in chunks. I believe we start pulling away at the end. Look for a low-scoring first half. But the ultimate score, I believe, will be Baltimore 31, Buffalo 14. 31-14, I'm calling it. That's going to be the game. And then we'll wait and see what type of nonsense and excuses come about. The other thing people have been talking about, and this is where we're going to start to wrap things up for this show, because we got to get ready for our tailgating to go on. But look, who's this game more important to? I'll answer that one for you right now. The game is more important to Lamar Jackson, and here's why. Because of these two quarterbacks, there's only one that all the world, all the media is going to jump on and try to nullify all his excellence, all his accomplishments, everything good he's done. In fact, try to use those things to crucify his career. There's only one of these two guys. Josh Allen doesn't have to worry about that. If Josh Allen loses, the same people who were willing to lie about his teammates and say that his teammates were all scrubs, those same people will come out with those same lies again and start saying, well, Josh, you did so well. You overachieved. You this, you that. Even though the expectations for you, Josh, should have been higher since they want to play expectations. Josh was a lottery draft pick. He went top 10. They won't crucify Josh if he loses his game. They'll figure out some way to continue to praise him. But if Lamar Jackson, in spite of the all-world season that he had, if he loses this game, they will come for Lamar. So who does it mean more to? I promise you, it means more to Lamar because Lamar knows how he's been doubted and how he continues to be put into this box that doesn't allow the world to appreciate what he's done. He knows that no matter what he does, they'll continue to naysay until he absolutely crushes all the narratives. And it means that to him. Expect to see a focused Lamar. Expect to see a focused Baltimore Ravens. And expect to see the Ravens versus the Chiefs, because I just got the update. The Chiefs did beat the Houston Texans. So we know we handle business with the Buffalo Bills. And it's going to be that awesome rematch where we make history right. I'm Rob Love. Thanks for flying with the brother. This is One Flock. Please like and subscribe. We're almost to 600 subscribers already. I cannot believe how awesome you guys have been. We appreciate it. Let's get to 600. And then we only got 400 more to get to a first 1,000, as hard as that is to believe. Here at us just being 2 weeks old. You guys are amazing. So proud to be part of One Flock. You are the best. Let's go get this win. Let's go do what we got to do. Please leave a comment on what you think is going to happen in this game today. You agree with what I had to say? Do you disagree? You think we got something else going on here? We got some Bills Mafia in the group. You guys think I'm wrong? You think what? You do have scrubs on your team? You expect to lose? What? Tell me. Meantime, it's time to fly, y'all. Let's go get this win. Thanks for tuning in. We got it.
We take the field as one flock. Like no Ravens, here we go as one flock. We keep grinding till we soar to the top. Come on, Ravens, here we go as one flock. We keep grinding till we soar to the top. Let's go, Ravens. Let's go, Ravens. Let's go, Ravens. Let's go.